Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
All right, we got Louis coming up in a little less than a half hour. Any big free agency moves by the Purple or anybody else today?
I don't know if I'd say anything is big.
Massive?
I'm the wrong guy to ask. I mean, I was going to lead with the Geno Smith stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's fair.
I'll read you the, let me go to the Pro Football Talk, like kind of the sideline here. Like Cam Lewis, defensive back, is going to the Bears. 2 years. Does that do anything for you?
That's okay.
Cowboys are getting a defensive lineman. Agbania. Nashawn Wright, 1-year deal with the Jets. I mean, it seems kind of slow. These are the top stories at ProFootballTalk.com.
So we're all kind of waiting for the more quarterback dominoes to fall, but one did fall today. That allegedly it was a QB the Vikings had interest in.
Geno Smith, 9-year separation. That's how long Geno Smith's been in the league. He has not played for the Jets for 9 years. And instead of waiting for him to be released, which was expected, the Jets picked up the phone, called Seattle, and said, what if we make a trade? What if we give you something? What if we give you a 6th-round pick? You give us Geno, send a 7th-rounder back. He'll be back in, is it Florham Park, New Jersey? One of your favorites? Florham Park, New Jersey.
I'll take your word for it.
Geno Smith is back. He held the starting job there from 2013 to 2015. The 2015 preseason. Remember this, how it ended? He was punched by a teammate in the locker room dispute that resulted in a fractured jaw when he played for the New York Jets. That's pretty funny.
I don't even remember that.
I don't either, but it was 9 years ago. So
wow.
Anyway, Geno Smith is there. When you were talking about Kyler Murray earlier, because it does seem like it's all narrowing down now for the Vikings. Who else is interested in Kyler Murray? You know what
question.
I mean?
The rumor was the Jets were as well.
Jets were
as I
one
said
of them.
earlier. So now they're out of that.
Dolphins might have been. They're out of it.
They're out of it because
Malik
they added
Willis.
Malik Willis. Are we out of teams, which maybe makes it easier to negotiate? Who else is looking for a quarterback at this point, at this late date, other than us?
Let me go back to my Google.
As sad as it is.
Teams interested in Kyler Murray. That was my official Google earlier today. It's a 3-team race according to Yahoo.
What are the other teams?
The Vikings.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs, possibly.
What?
As a backup.
I'll be a backup, yeah. Yeah.
And then the Jets were the other team listed. This I don't know if it was before, but this is from a couple of hours ago.
Well, that would almost seem to make it sound like it's a 1-team race, because if you're Kyler Murray, you might like winning with the Chiefs, but you want to play, don't you?
Colts, another team possibly.
Yeah, because they're having problems coming to terms with Daniel Jones completely. Although I thought they transitioned him.
Well, he's also injured, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But then Pittsburgh is another interesting one, because we're also waiting for Aaron Rodgers, right? He was supposedly going to tell everybody by today or tomorrow exactly what he wanted to do, right? And so, because people want to make plans, and he's not good enough at the moment, I don't think, to hold people hostage. Or maybe he is, if you're quarterback desperate, like a lot of teams are, maybe the Vikings are, because Pittsburgh would be another theoretical option if they do move on from Rodgers, or Rodgers moves on from them. Pittsburgh with your guy Mike McCarthy, might be an option for Kyler Murray too. But
there's not the moral of the story. There's not a lot at this point. Where it is, that part's narrowing down too. So have at them. Congratulations, Vikings fans. Get excited.
Do you know where the Minnesota Timberwolves sit in the NBA Western Conference standings right now?
Well, I think Houston lost again the other day. But then we lost our last game. Are we still in third?
We are in third.
That's what I thought. I know we'd moved up
by a half game over the Rockets.
And the Rockets just lost. Didn't they just lose to I don't know if it was a bad team or not, but they just lost.
No, they got crunched by the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, that's it. Everybody gets crunched by them.
They do, and they are the Rockets are taking on the Raptors tonight. But it's the other part of it, and I guess I'm just going to have to get over it. And other Wolves fans are going to have to get over it too. I get it that everybody loses, and they've won 5 in a row. And I like Banchero. It was always Banchero, and then I heard Horton say Banchero.
Now it's become Banchero.
It's Banchero now.
It's like Rossi.
He's good.
He's very good. They've been viewed until recently as one of the disappointments this year.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. They've won 4 in a row now. The Orlando Magic we're talking about.
The rap on him is a little bit of a ball drain. Where
that's true.
He's one of those guys who holds on to it.
He was
got a
cooking
little bit of the Julius Randle disease back in the day. But he was outstanding against the Wolves.
And those are the games that, again, I think this is just a me problem because the NBA and NBA media just doesn't seem to care anymore. Like, when you're a half game ahead of Houston, imagine being a full game ahead of Houston tonight.
Yeah,
right? Imagine being a game and a half ahead of Houston.
Well, see, I'm in the minority because it even bothers me the degree of loss. I mean, I know in the end what you're talking about is get a victory.
Yeah.
And does it matter if you lose by 6 or lose by 27? For me, it does. It's not a good look. Let me give you this. So we got the Lakers tonight, right, in L.A.
They're the 5 seed right now. They have won 2 in a row after losing 3 in a row. They're 39-25. Go ahead.
So moving forward, here's our next 10 games. At Lakers, at Clippers, and the Clippers are 500, but you're there. At Warriors, starting to get healthier, I think, also 500. At Thunder, 51-15. That's next Sunday.
Nice shot by SGA last night. See that? He had 36 points.
He hit 2 in a row.
Yeah,
like
good.
that, which were ridiculous. Then hosting the Suns, who are 37-27. Then we host Utah. They're terrible. Then we host the Trailblazers. They're a little under 500. And then we're at Boston. We host Houston. And we host the Pistons. Now, the Pistons are fading a bit, but they're still 45-18. So look at some of these records here in the next 10. 39-25 that they're facing. 51-15. 37-27. 43-21. 39-24. 45-18.
Call that a tough stretch.
That's a tough stretch where you're going to have to get serious about doing your business. And how about the Celtics? They could end up now, they get their star back.
Jason Tatum.
10 months later. And without him, they were in the second spot. I mean, shouldn't every other team in a way be embarrassed?
Yes.
On the basis of what the Boston Celtics, without their best player, in a year in which they seem to say, we're getting rid of everybody. And despite getting rid of so many championship pieces, they're so well put together and so well coached and so focused that they have a chance to be the favorites, now that they got their best player back, to be the Eastern Conference champions back in the NBA Finals.
People on our side of this discussion, the more consistency discussion, the why does it have to be like this? The opposite of the every team goes through weird stretches.
Yes, that's it.
We all need to be pulling for the Boston Celtics.
I agree totally.
To win the title because Mazzulla's a maniac.
He is,
and you got to have the right guys. I get it. Not every team has a Jaylen Brown who dodoesn't care. It has a Brad Stevens who's obviously a stud.
Their record without Jaylen Brown too,
probably pretty good.
I think it was 6-1. Average margin of victory 20 points. Now explain that. You can't. In the vernacular of, well, everybody loses and everybody wins. And everybody, there's ups and downs a whole bit. They've put to shame all of them.
I know. So I'm kind of pulling for him.
Me too. I'm with you.
Did you ever see the Joe Mazzulla answer to the kid question a couple of weeks ago?
I don't think so.
That made the rounds.
The Jason Kidd question?
No. The kid reporter question.
Oh, no.
You know how some people will bring in and the kid for the day, reporter for the day. I would have loved to do that, by the way, when I was a kid. He asked him basically that how do you keep things fun in a long season? How do you make sure that the guys are having fun? And I'll paraphrase it, but Mazzulla was basically like, he didn't even try to pretend.
For the sake of the kid.
Yeah, he just goes, basically said, we're not interested in fun, kid. Like, fun to us is winning. Fun to us is being at our best all the time. It's not, long season, keep them loose, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure it wasn't what the kid was looking for.
No.
But it's a good window into the Mazzulla mystique and how he operates, and that's probably part of the reason why they are who they are.
He's awkward to listen to.
Yeah.
He's not. You feel uncomfortable sometimes with him in press conferences, But if you're more concerned about winning, what he's done this year, and it probably goes all the way to the top in terms of who, the other players you brought in, is having a chance, if they get a chance, is second to none. I mean, he's got to be. I know some people have said it's Bickerstaff for Coach of the Year, and you can't argue with what the Pistons have done. But I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be Celtics guy. I on the basis of everything we've laid out here.
10 o'clock tonight for the Wolves and the Lakers. Luka, by the way, got fined $50,000. He did the Rudy Gobert money symbol.
Oh, did he?
Signal to a ref. LeBron is a game-time decision, and that game right here on the Fan will follow the Minnesota Wild back in action tonight against the Utah Mammoth at Grand Casino Arena.
We're at home, right, for that game?
We are.
All right, let's get the same thing. We got to keep it going here. I wanted us to get 2 points. I was greedy about the Lanch game. It was sitting there for us.
It was.
Right? We were down 1-0. We come back, get 2 straight goals.
Got
including
the
shorty, and we're up 2-1. It's like, finish the thing. Just finish the thing. Come on, finish it off. And unfortunately, we couldn't do it. And we had even an opportunity in the shootout, and unfortunately could not get that done. But I guess the best news to come out of that was the kid goalie, for the first time in a while, looked good again.
Wallace St. Paul.
He had kind of faded, and everybody's theory was, well, he's caught up in all the trade rumors, and now we're past the trade deadline. I don't know what the reason is, but they needed a good game from him. Perhaps he needed a good game from himself, and even in the loss, he provided it.
Let's hit the break.
All right, we got, Lavelle's Friday. We've got Louie. It's kind of a two Lou Tuesday.
It's a lose day.
It's a lose day. Very well said.
It's a lose day.
We had Ragoose earlier, and we've got Louie coming up in about 15. Text to explore as we prepare for Louie at the bottom of the hour. I'll remind you, if you have questions for Luigi, 64686 is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, as is always and often the case. Let me load these texts up. This is from our discussion regarding the NBA announcement that they are eliminating apparently the protestations of the Atlanta Hawks organization. They are not allowing them to go forward with their Magic City Night.
Yeah.
Commemorating, is it 40 years of...
according to the website, they've been around for 40.
Establishment.
Yeah.
It's turned into kind of this is one of those debates that you like I said, you really can't see coming, especially when the fuse seemed to be lit by a San Antonio Spurs Davy player out of nowhere writing something.
Luke Cornett.
He's kind of being blamed for all of it.
If he would have just kept his damn mouth shut, Magic City Night would have gone on.
It would have gone on without any difficulty, because apparently no one else was grumbling about it. 651 guy writes, try being a school board member in a suburb who has to vote on whether or not we're going to accept a donation from the most well-known business in our community, the King of Diamonds, which is a strip club. I know they came to us at least twice in my 8 years to offer donation, which was promptly turned down. That, too, raises interesting ethical questions, right? But does it not? The assumption is, if it's turned down, why would it be turned down? The activity is legal.
Right, that's where it's tricky. There are no laws being broken.
But clearly we think other things are governing our approach in this regard, and that's what surprises me about Cornette being destroyed. It's not the same as saying you're not allowed to disagree with him, but that he's being excoriated for even taking the position at all, when that example being given is, well, there's this feeling that it's just too delicate. It's just a bad statement that you're making. Doesn't mean the clubs have to go away or the individuals who work in them have to apologize for existing, but I'm not sure I saw that text coming either. Did you?
No, but that's an interesting one.
It is.
Because everybody needs money, too.
Yeah, that's the scary part now.
There used to be times
now more than ever.
We didn't accept, booze money or tobacco money or different kinds of money there.
Yes.
So where do you draw the line?
Promoting Magic City. What's next? Writes 507 guy. Pro sports leagues getting into bed with gambling companies. Good line. It's a very good line. But again, I'd say in this context, it's apples and oranges because the assumption, unless you view the relationship that's developed between the major sports and gambling as being sexist, wouldn't that be in a different classification? That's what this is about. This is about the question of whether there's objectification going on as well. Top 5 at 5 is coming through loud and clear in Cancun, Mexico. Oh, good for me.
Lucky.
I just had an iceberg, Dos Equis with margarita mix for you and the rest of the Midwest. That's Clayton checking in from Rochester as well. I had something else. Oh, I think this is an attempt to satirize the description of the the individuals who came up with the bombs outside the New York mayor's office.
Right.
That story being rather sadly sanitized originally by CNN to the point where they even had to apologize for it and retract it. This is from TP2K guy. A German businessman crossed into Los Angeles for what could have been a normal Christmas Eve, enjoying the views from Nakatomi Tower. But early the next morning, his life would drastically change as he would fall from the top of the building while being confronted by a police officer for taking the entire office hostage and attempting to steal $640 million in negotiable bearer bonds. That, of course, from the
Die Hard, right?
Die Hard motion picture. That's Die Hard 1, correct?
Yeah. Is there a Die Hard 2?
Die Hard 2 is the one at the airport and back east. I can't remember which airport it was. Yeah, it was more of a wintry.
Oh, okay.
I actually think it's pretty good. It's not badly done. It's decent.
Does it surprise you that I don't think I've ever seen either one of them?
You didn't see one?
Not like on purpose. I'm sure I've watched some of it.
You probably blundered into it.
Yeah, and everybody loves it, and everybody has an opinion on whether it's a Christmas movie or not. We do that every year in December, which I couldn't care less about, even if I had seen the movie. A lot of good lines in it.
That doesn't make you a bad person. I'm not going to judge you. I mean, it's had like a second, third, and fourth life.
Oh, it's a huge movie. I'm in the minority. It's a big film,
and it's also then that's the ongoing debate. Is it a Christmas movie or is it not a Christmas movie? Which kind of bores me, but that's been part of it as well. This is David from Marshall. PA can't stand Kyler Murray. Vikings signed Kyler Murray. PA loves Kyler Murray. Wolves in 5. So he didn't do any rhymes.
Hold on, I wasn't ready for that. You read it very quickly, too.
I probably read it too quickly. PA can't stand Kyler Murray. The Vikings signed Kyler Murray. PA loves Kyler Murray. Wolves in 5.
So technically it rhymed.
It did, actually. You're right. I didn't know that. Is that true? Is he taking? Though that's not far from my position. I wouldn't say I despise him, but I'm not at all inspired by him. That's for sure. 701 guy in Andover asks, controversial question. I was at the high school hockey and found myself at the concessions buying an $8 Diet Coke. The tip option started at something like 15% or 18%, went up from there. What is my obligation level for tipping at the concessions? I tipped a couple times and didn't other times.
Yeah.
I did not tip $10 on my $40 chicken tenders for a 2 order, even though the chicken tenders rock. Thank you for your consideration and love the show. I think had this discussion.
Yeah, I have a hard time
over
with
the
it.
years. I do too, and I think I'm erratic. I don't think. You know what happens is I don't tip for a while, and then I feel guilty about tipping for a while in that environment, and then I start tipping some.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's right. Where are you on that whole thing?
It also depends on how many times you're going back.
Yeah, right.
if I'm with one kid, we might be there 7 times. So that's going to be an extra like $14.
That's true.
To $20.
So do you designate and say, hey, look, I'm tipping you this once. Don't expect me to keep tipping you the next 3 times I come in.
Honestly, I'm just such a Minnesotan. I hope they get distracted and move on to the next order or back to the counter to grab something, and I can get out of there.
That makes sense.
And then I don't like how they tell you what you're telling them in the tip. If it's like 15, 18, 20, they'll say good, great, amazing.
Oh, are you serious? I didn't even notice
Sometimes
that.
they'll say, sometimes they'll.
Oh, come on.
They'll have the percentage, and then underneath it will say, like, your rating of the service, in which that's not what I'm telling you. It just might be, I'm already spending $42 on a pretzel and 2 large pops.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to give another $6. That might be all I'm saying. Not that your service was bad, although you just turned around and grabbed the pretzel. You didn't bake it.
No, that's...
You may have. You heated it up.
The stuff I tend to tip on every time is foo-foo drink. My latte.
They're grinding for that.
I tip every time on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everybody's arbitrary about, I think, what they say yes on and what they say I'm not going to go.
I try to be a decent tipper. I really do.
The third diehard is the best with Samuel Jackson. Gaardsy, there are like 6 diehards. There are at least, are there that many? I think there are 4. Maybe there are more. Just imagine all the opportunities for Barrero to use we didn't need him bit next year if the Vikings just go with JJ again. Kirk, Kyler, Geno, Rodgers, Mac Jones, etc. You're right. It's the bit that keeps on giving.
You're going to have a list by your Barca.
That's very true.
Make sure you know everybody that we didn't need.
Vikings just better get it right. Luigi is coming up. You have questions for him, 64686, as we mentioned back in a minute.
Well, she sneaks around the world from India to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is
Lou Nanne?
All brought to you by our good friends, his good friends at Kemp's. Louis joins us via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline on this calm before the tsunami Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, there's more. Supposed to get some wet snow overnight or into tomorrow, I think. I don't know when it's going to happen, Louis. It never stops. We get up to, we get teased by a 60-degree day, and it's March. It's the way it works. It's nothing new here, but it's kind of wearing. Are you in Florida or California?
Florida this week, and missing the snow. I would have loved to have seen it.
Let me ask you something. I suggested, I don't know what day this was. Was it Thursday or Friday on the show, that I actually had a harder time not hearing you on the state high school hockey tournament this year than I did the first year, because it's supposed to work the other way. It's like, okay, it bothers you at first after 60 years, but you're going to get a little bit more used to it in the second year. That's just, it's time. It's the way things go. I was more bothered by you not being on this year rather than last year. I didn't even understand it, but it was bugging me. It really was. I needed to hear your voice, especially during a classic double overtime Class 2A championship game.
It's funny you said that, because I got more texts this year than I did last year about the same thing.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. That was funny. I was fortunate enough I learned how to stream now.
Oh, good.
I was able to watch the games and watch the last Friday, Saturday night games, and it was very, very, very interesting to see.
Well, we're going
in the afternoon too. By the way, Friday I was able to get that.
Oh, good. Well, we'll get to some of your reaction to some of the results here in a minute. I also suggested that we need to consider, in preparation for next year, a Draft Louis campaign. So if we had a Draft Louis campaign, is there anything you think we could do to convince you to come out of retirement, even if it was for a year?
Off the top of my head, I really can't think of something right now.
All right, well, maybe we'll find. I mean,
guarantee me there's no snow?
That's tough to do. I'd like to do that. I don't know if I could. I'm trying to figure out if I could guarantee you to get into a Hall of Fame you didn't expect to get into. you're in so many, but maybe there's one where you say, well, I'm supposedly not going to get into this one, but if there's some way you can help me get into that one, maybe I'd reconsider. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we could talk about that.
All right, we'll negotiate on it. So the 2A was, obviously there were two great games for the championship round, day and night. All the action, by the way, on either the Fan or KFAN Plus with Zach Halverson. I'm very proud of our coverage on that, how it's become, we've kind of become, we've developed it into now the place to come for, if you can't get to TV, that you can listen to the games. It's been a great addition, I think, to the tradition of, sort of the KFAN radio network and the other stations that are affiliated with it. It's the dreaded 3-goal lead, right? Minnetonka leads twice, 3-0 and 4-1. When it's 4-1, are you thinking it's over, or did you still feel like there was a chance that there could be a miracle comeback?
Well, I definitely felt like there was a chance for a comeback because when you look at the opportunities Moorhead was getting, they were getting some good chances. But I still think that Minnetonka was going to be tough to catch if they maintain, the composure that they were showing in the zone. I really believe that the penalty that the kid took for roughing was unfortunate. First of all, I didn't know that they'd call a penalty like that at that stage of the game. And then because I felt right away, as soon as they call that penalty, because when you look at the way Moorhead moved that puck, and I have to tell you, they do the same play a lot, and that the pass comes across through the seam to the. Usually, it was always going to be Joey Cullen down low, and he can get that shot off really quickly, and he's accurate. And they scored that goal. Then I definitely felt the game was going to get tied. And what surprised me was not that they got tied, because I would have bet money at that time that Moorhead was going to come back and tie the game, because as you could just sense and you see in a way Minnetonka was playing, they were playing feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking like they were thinking earlier in the game. Minnetonka, when you look at it, they got two fluky goals. The two of those goals were not very good.
True.
So
you're right.
It really wasn't a 4-1 game. The score belied the play. So I thought it'd get tied. But what surprised me the most was when they went in overtime, Minnetonka got more composure than they had when the score got to be 4-2 to the end of the game when it got tied. They started making, especially the defensemen, I thought were really good handling the puck, getting out of the zone, making rushes. But where Minnetonka fell apart in the overtime was the moment they got in the offensive zone, there was not even a thought of making a play or looking for a pass.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to do it individually to score the goal. And so when you're doing that, the goalie's just playing you, and most of the times they're coming from the angle, and the shots, where they were on net, but they weren't really great scoring chances. And then turn around and Moorhead to get the puck, come down the ice, and make plays. And when you're constantly making plays, eventually that you're going to get a good opportunity, which was a real good goal by the Wanager, I think his name was, and he basically had a screen to the defenseman, shot and caught the short side. If you looked at the goalie's reaction from when they played it from behind him, it even seemed like he didn't react right away. He didn't pick that puck up right away because I think it was partially screened. But it was a tremendous game. I mean, it was so enjoyable. It's one of those things you don't want anybody to lose, but somebody's got to win. And Moorhead, if you think that's going to be the end of it, I don't think so. When you look at the kids on that team, they're still young. And that Bergeson, by the way, first time I saw him, I go in front, I say, hey, this one kid, he's going Augustan. I love this kid. He's really good. I think that's his name, Bergeson. I think he even won Mr. Hockey, I think, Sunday. But boy, the way he was handling the puck, moving the puck, he not only scored some great goals, he was setting up his line mates really well. And when you look at it, you say, they'll lose him, but other than that, they got a lot coming back. They're going to be tough to beat next year.
What did you make? And I don't know how much you've heard about this or paying attention to it. We spent a little bit of time on it on Sunday, and actually we got back into it yesterday a little as well. That it goes, I guess, back to what should govern conduct after you lose in as devastating a fashion as that. I mean, right? You're up by 3 goals twice. As you say, maybe a couple of those goals weren't very legit, but that's the lead. It's 3 goals 2 times. You're the number 1 seed. You've had an outstanding season, and you end up losing, which it's not, especially for kids that age, that's not the easiest thing to process on the fly. But everything's visual now, Louis. This is a big, big event, right? This is our crown jewel event, so people pay attention to it. Like it's here, it might as well be the Stanley Cup Finals, right, in its own way. So when the Minnetonka players are ripping the medals off, the second place medals almost as quickly as they have them on, and when in the official post-game press conference, nobody from Minnetonka shows up, including the head coach, I don't think it's a very good look. I especially the latter. To me, it's hard. It can't be easy, but I think the coach has got to win or lose. You got to have a presence there, because I think it sends a much better message about what you said. It's a hell of a game, man. Nobody was going to savage the Minnetonka team for losing that game, right? At all. But what's your own opinion on what rules should govern behavior in terms of, again, in a tournament that's big right now, right? The ratings on this thing again were absurd. Attendance was ridiculous. What do you think?
Well, I think just like you think, I was really disappointed that happened. And I've known Goldie since he was a little guy. I love the guy, and he's been a tremendous coach for Minnetonka. I don't know what he was thinking. I have to tell you, even whenever the championship game was over, I always went down after the game to talk to both coaches. And I remember the time that Minnetonka won against Edina. I want to say it was probably about 5-6 years ago. And Minnetonka won. I think it was 2-1. And he was sitting there with his hands in his face. And the kids were all out celebrating somewhere. And he looked up and he saw me. He saw Lou. He said, "Boy, we were lucky." I said, "Well, it's all part of the game. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. How can you just be sitting here thinking how lucky you were and feeling like still afraid that you didn't win? You did win." So I could see this kid, and I remember that right away, because I think emotions overtake him in a big game like that. And it's not. This kid is a wonderful guy. He's tremendous. He's a great coach, but he's a better person than he is coach. And I'm disappointed he did that. I would tell him that. And I'm sure today he's disappointed in himself. And he wanted it so bad, and he wanted it for the kids. I mean, he's already won.
Sure.
And I could see that. But that's the time when you got to stand up and take the lead. And for the kids themselves, they got to appreciate what a great opportunity they had to show their skills in front of the whole state, and what a wonderful game that it was. And somebody's got to lose, but they got to be proud of their effort. And they have to learn that in defeat, you learn in defeat more than you learn in winning. And I think that they lose sight of that it's our society. It's becoming fashionable now for the team that ends second, even in world championships, stuff like this. People almost degrade the second place medal. Instead of thinking, that's what competition is all about. That's why you play the sport. You play the sport because of the joy you get out of competing, knowing that somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. But you have to learn how to handle the bad better than handling the good. Nobody has a problem handling the good usually, but they sure have problems with disappointment. And if it's anything, it's the time in your life when you're getting a great learning experience, and you got to know how to react to that kind of event and that kind of situation. And I was very disappointed in that. I know if I would have been there, and I had heard him say that, I'd have made him go down to the media room, and I would have encouraged him to take the guys down too, because they put on a terrific show, and they shouldn't be leaving a bad taste in people's mouths for putting forth the effort they put forth.
Yeah, very well stated. And you know what I think some of what's going on is regarding this sort of disdain for the second place medal. I think it's starting to turn into a thing of like, well, I want to show to you that that's not good enough for me, that I'm a competitor and I didn't come here for that. And that's assumed, right? But the idea that you're somehow showing yourself to be more of a competitor, that I don't even want that second place medal on because I didn't come here to finish second. I don't even think folks understand that that's not really conveying the message that they think it is when that people are going to go, wow, that's how competitive, how badly they wanted to win it. They're just bored with the second place medal. It doesn't really come off that way.
I think you're reading that perfectly. I think that's exactly what's going through the kids' mind. And not only kids, as I said,
right.
It's happening on the adult level too in a lot of competitions, and it's getting to the point where we don't think, competing and playing the best you can is a worthy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't win, it's nothing. Well, it hurts. But that's why you compete. You want to get those different feelings. You never want the losing feeling, but if you get it, it's something that you got to cherish because you wanted it so bad, and all of a sudden you didn't get it. You feel that way, but when you win, of course, you want that feeling. And if there was no emotion in the game, if there was no feeling in winning and losing, there wouldn't be 20,000 people at the game.
Exactly.
No, nobody feels that way. So you got to. We learn a lot of things as we grow older, but the one thing the kids got to learn first and foremost is the real joy is in competing. The real joy is being able to compete at that level, because a lot of kids can't get to that level, don't play that hard or play that well. And when you compete, there's going to be somebody who wins and somebody loses. I've had my share of losing in big games.
Sure.
And I know how much it hurts. So I know what they're feeling. But at the same time, I will have to tell you, I really felt good that we got that far to get the opportunity to win. And even though we didn't, at least we got the next. We get close.
Yeah, exactly.
And you keep, and that's what pushes you forward to want to do it the next year. The hunger that you feel never goes away. And that's what those kids should be realizing. How much they, hated losing, but at the same time, how much they know how valuable it would be if they were able to win, and they got to go after it the next time.
Well, again, I mean, people are smart. They know that at that moment, they're hurting because they did intend, they thought they were in position to win the thing. Nobody is thinking like, well, they're just too easily accepting second place. And people are smarter than that. They know that that's not what you're going for. But it's the whatever this visual is supposed to be like, oh man, that's how competitive they are. They're not even interested in the second place medal. It doesn't come off good. Now, let me get you to a text, because I got a couple of these Sunday as well, because not everybody agrees. And I want to get, again, your reaction, because you can speak to this. 952 guy writes, you have no idea the ins and outs of what happened on Saturday night. Goldie's a class act. He was consoling the kids on his team in the locker room as they were destroyed. The press conference was deemed as optional. I am sickened by how people are reacting. What would you say to 952 guy?
Well, I say, yeah, we do know that he was consoling his kids, but at that point, you've been there. It's not like this is his first time there. He knows what happened. He sat at that podium when other teams that he's beaten sat beside him. And you have to. That's part of your responsibility as a coach, to show the way and show the leadership and show what happens when things don't go your way. You console them, but you also have to face the people. Hey, he can't tell me about goals rating. Like I said, I love this kid. I love him. I love him as much as I think so highly of this guy. And I've known him since he was in diapers, and so I'm kind of partial to this guy. I love this guy, but at the same time, we all make mistakes, and he's got to learn from that mistake. That's a mistake, and it's unfortunate that I understand where your guy that texts that message is coming from. He doesn't like to see him face the wrath of people, which I don't either. But we're talking about how do you analyze the situation and what do you do from it. And if you were to talk to him right now, he'd be telling you he's very sorry. He didn't do what he should have done. He feels upset about it, and if he had to do it all over again, he'd never react the same way.
Did the brawl involving Edina at the end of Edina's loss the night before, did that also disappoint you? Yeah,
that did. The game's over, and again, frustration's got to come to the end. There's different ways of looking at things. The kids are amateurs, okay? And in the NHL, they even, for the most part, shake hands after, the Stanley Cup's over. There's one guy who never did. John Ferguson would never shake hands if the Montreal Canadiens won or lost. And he had that, but that was his thinking, because John Ferguson also, if he's walking down the street in the summer and a guy that plays for another team was walking on the same side of the street, he'd cross the street. He never want any contact with an opposition player because he knew he might have to beat the hell out of him, and he didn't want to get to know him or find anything that he liked about him. So he wanted no contact. So that guy was true to that kind of belief that he had. But for the most part, every other place you go, how do you think the Canadians felt about shaking hands with the Americans after the Olympics? I mean, what could be more disappointing than that? But that's something that you got to do. And the frustration at the end of the game, too, there were a lot of hits, hard hits, stuff like that. The Four Nations, the same way. Those kids have to realize when the whistle blows, the game's over. It's over. You don't go out and react that way, and I was very disappointed that they did that. We got to get our mindset back to what athletics is all about, and how we're supposed to respond. And I'm not talking about during the game. I love to see guys hit and be hit and take it up a notch. And if you have to, that's during the game. But when the game's over, it's over. You don't start playing, say, high school hockey or something, and game's over and you're waiting for somebody outside beside the rink and have a fight or something, And that's where we're going. If this kind of attitude keeps going like this.
Quick pro hockey question before we wrap things up. Dr. Phil, writing from St. Michael, writes, it seems to me like the last couple of years in Arizona, the Wild started having trouble handling the team. That now that they're in Utah, it seems like for whatever reason they match up really well against the Wild. That, of course, is the Wild's opponent tonight. He's curious about Louis' take on this issue.
It just seems that every team has some team that gives them a problem, and they can't figure out why, and I can't figure out why, but I do think that the Wild are going to come back and win tonight. I love what the Wild have done. I'm excited about where they are. I'm excited about the team. I'm excited about the chance they're going to get to play Dallas. As I've been telling you for 6 weeks, that's where I want them to play. And I really feel good that they got it. I'm confident they're going to beat Dallas. I could be wrong, but right now, if I had to bet some money, it'd be a lot stronger on the Wild than Dallas. And the Utah thing, sometimes Utah, by the way, has got a really good young team, and they're fast. And I don't know that the Wild, the games that I've seen them play, they haven't played them that much, but they just don't seem to make contact. They don't seem to use their body as effectively as they do against other teams. I know they got speed, but they could still be there to hit them. It's almost like they don't focus as hard on that team as they do other teams when they're playing. And I think tonight they will, and I expect them to win the game tonight.
763 guy writes, if Florida upped allowed vacation days to 200, would that entice Luigi to resume his state tournament work?
Yeah, that might do it.
That's it. That's what we got to get done, Gaardsy. We changed that, and I think we can get him back here. I think the recall could happen.
Especially with the news that USA Hockey mentioned that it's a record number of girls that are now registered to play hockey. I don't know the exact number,
I saw
but
that,
there's a kid in Utah that was like
became
whatever the big number was.
Right.
And then somebody in Florida said in the year 2000 there was 400 girls registered, and now there's like 8,000. So again, congratulations on growing the game in Florida. I mean, you continue to these metrics continue to go through the roof, Luigi, all because of you and every other retired NHL executive that just coincidentally lives down there.
I've grown it right down the street 4 miles from here, and Gretzky's involved in it, but there's a new rink going up.
See?
Which is really good. And it helps me because when I go and watch my great-grandson play, he's got to play in Lake Worth right now, and it's like a 25-minute ride down to that rink. And you know what they pay an hour in some of the rinks? $700 an hour.
700 smackers?
Yeah, and you want to know something that still bugs me? When I was running the North Stars, I made a deal with Richfield, and I had him sign a contract, and I signed a 25-year deal for $80 an hour. $80 an hour. And we built a locker room in there, which the Eden Prairie High School team is probably still enjoying. And I had it for 2 years, and then Norm Green comes in, and one day he comes into my office and he says, "Why is the team practicing at Eden Prairie?" I said, "Because we got a great deal on the ice. It's $80, and it's only got, I think I might have a CPI increase in there over the years, but it was minimal."
Right.
And he said, "That's too far," as if he's going to go watch the team. So he made me break the contract, and he would bus him to Richfield.
Oh, wow.
That might have been talk about some dumb moves. That had to be maybe the dumbest that I've ever seen.
$80 an hour.
That's pretty good. That's very good.
Yeah.
How close are you think, to getting into one of the Florida Halls of Fame? Because that's got to be next.
Yeah, there has to be a Florida Hockey Hall of Fame.
That's got to be the next one for you.
That's right. Yeah. They got a few of the guys.
Yeah, a few. Sure, that's for sure. Excellent work again today. We appreciate the candor and the commentary, and we'll chat next week. Thank you, Louie.
Thanks, Dan.
I appreciate you. Always the best. Kemp's, our outstanding sponsor of the incomparable Luigi segments. We have a half hour yet to go. I got a couple follow-ups to get to and some texts. Don't go on. Earlier in the program, we were talking about I think it was a CBS News report indicating a belief that the Iranians were strategizing, maybe even had begun the process of doing major mining in the Strait of Hormuz, and that there were rather sobering ramifications if indeed that was the case. Well, here's the update. It appears the U.S. is responding quickly. One international reporter, military reporter, indicates perhaps even preemptively to Iranian mining attempts by striking high-speed boats and other vessels that can carry naval mines and block the aforementioned Strait of Hormuz. This will likely be the focus of many airstrikes for days. In fact, I think earlier today, your guy, the Secretary of War, Mr. Hegseth, had said this was going to be like a day of significant bombing. And then this comes out of the U.S. Central Command. U.S. forces eliminated multiple Iranian naval vessels March 10, including 16 mine layers near the Strait of Hormuz, is what they're saying there. Also, related to this story, this is... I would put this under the classification of get the story straight. You're supposed to be in an official position to know. Because earlier today, there was a story out that the U.S. Navy escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz, according to the, hold on a second. According to a high-ranking U.S. official. And then, in fact, it was the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright. And then Jennifer Griffin, a very good Fox News Channel military reporter, said, "Not so fast, my friend. I'm told from well-placed military sources, no U.S. military assets have escorted any oil tankers through the strait as of yet, despite Energy Secretary Chris Wright's claim to the contrary." And then, funny, the Chris Wright tweet was deleted. You got to get that kind of stuff right, don't you? I think that'd be kind of important. I would think so. A lot of text. Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line reacting to our conversation with Luigi. Why are we still talking about this? It's Tuesday. Well, the answer is simple. Tuesday's the day we talk to Lou Nanne. And if you think when we have the first chance to get to Louie, since the state high school hockey tournament, the crown jewel of high school hockey, that we're not going to mention it because it's 3 days later? Come on. If we had Luigi on yesterday, we'd have talked to him yesterday. If we'd had him on Sunday, I'd have talked to him then. We didn't. Today's his day most of the time that we have him on, and so it's not like it was 7 months ago. That's just somebody who's obviously sensitive to it and defensive about it, but I don't know that I would be doing my job with Louie, given his standing, especially if I don't bring up the subject. Then it's up to him what direction he wants to go. I did. It wasn't like I guided him. I asked him for his reaction. Disappointed, not that big a deal, whatever the case may be. So I don't think that should be all that complicated at all. Seems that Iran has a long game play of let's force up the cost of oil and wait for the American people to pressure President Trump. They're likely keenly aware of his approval ratings, American politics ahead of the midterm. That's Maddie in St. Paul. That might well be true. Now, whether that'll work or not, I had a story we didn't have. I don't think we have time to get to today. A really good news analysis in the Wall Street Journal that indicated a belief that neither side has done a particularly good job of understanding unintended consequences of their own strategy so far in their own behavior. And maybe I'll try to get to that, save that for tomorrow. Also, it's worth noting, another quarterback domino has dropped. The Teddy Bridgewater to Minnesota dream has died.
Really?
Yes.
He's back somewhere else?
In the division, no less.
Is it Detroit again?
NFC North. Back with the Lions.
Interesting.
Now,
he's got a good pipeline there.
Have you heard the other Kyler Murray rumor?
I don't think so.
That the Rams want him and that they're creating their line of succession right now. And that they brought in Kingsbury, his guy, to sort of grease the wheels for that. So if you're Kyler Murray, would you prefer to play right away, or would you prefer to sit a year, assuming that Stafford stays healthy at the age of 50?
Right.
And then Stafford goes away, retires, presumably after the upcoming season, and they got all the pieces in place to say, we can win with Kyler Murray. Just asking. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what my answer would be if I was him. It's that.
I agree.
It's 100% that.
Yes.
Take a breath.
Take a breath.
You've been
it's
in the
not
meat
illegal.
grinder for 7 years.
Yes.
Go back with, the guy, Kingsbury, that you know. McVay, by the way, too.
Yes.
Like, as much as we love KOC, look at what McVay's won a Super Bowl. And McVay has done it, he's continuing to put them in position over and over and over again. That guy's pretty good. He's good. So if you're asking me, if I'm Kyler Murray, what am I doing?
That's the point.
I'm doing the Rams plan, if that's actually on the table.
If it's on the table, and I don't know that it is. And again, you can always say, well, no, you're a competitor. I want to play, and I can play here right away, and I'll show everybody, and then I'll get a big payoff again next year, one way or the other. I'd be very tempted.
Stafford's also 80. He might be hurt week 2.
That's
I know
also true.
He stayed healthy for the most part, but remember, training camp, we talked about it, like that special, sauna recovery bed room thing he was in? That chamber that he was emerging from?
The Rams, that's an operation. Well-coached team.
Absolutely.
Alcohol and tobacco money, okay. King of Diamonds money, no way. Magic City money, hooray. Minnesota fraud money, yippee-ki-yay. Wolves in 5.
Wow, with the Die Hard line in there, too.
That's
an iconic one there.
That's an all-timer. That would be in the Bid Hall of Fame, that's for sure. Let's wrap things up with a couple more texts and a reminder of tomorrow's program. Stay tuned.
Show wrap presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Did you happen to see where the Horizon League tournament championship game is being played?
I assume it's in Indianapolis. It's got to be Hinkle Fieldhouse, right?
It's Indianapolis.
Yeah, where else would it be?
Just saying, it's you can deny it, but it's never ending. Everybody wants to host out of Indianapolis. I know you hate the airport, but everybody wants to host in Indianapolis. And you're going back, aren't you?
Not intentionally.
No, that's it. I guess that's not.
The Final Four is there for men.
This year?
Yes. Not sure if we're going or not
Okay,
yet.
that's up in the air?
That's a little up in the air.
Okay.
And honestly, part of my hesitation is because it's in Indianapolis.
Well, I mean, it's the visceral hatred. That's what it's become.
It's not hatred.
It's not?
It's not hatred. It's just I've been there enough.
You have Indianapolis fatigue?
I have Indianapolis fatigue, yeah, and we're just inundated with
What about the
Indy.
shrimp cocktail?
It's wonderful. It's great. It's a nice touch. It's also like $20 for 4 shrimp. It's not exactly great value.
Okay. All right. Just wondering.
You know, the people that are getting the shrimp cocktail are on like company expense reports. You know, that's why they like
How
it so
much
much
does it
as
run?
well.
Do you know?
Yeah, like $20.
That's not bad for shrimp cocktail in 2026. In the times of inflation?
It actually might be more now. I haven't been there in a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
But it's 4 of them.
Oh, what are they, jumbo?
I'd say
If they're jumbo, that's okay.
small jumbo.
Small jumbo? What do you want, like 12?
I think 6. I think $5 a shrimp. I think it's a little steep.
Yeah, but you're paying for the sauce, too. The cocktail sauce is the best ever, allegedly.
You can get the cocktail sauce at the Harry and Izzy's at the airport, which I have actually done.
Oh, okay. So there is some stuff to get at the airport.
Just that, basically.
That's it?
Yeah, just that, basically.
I want to thank Lou Nanne, who joined us in studio beginning at 3:30 today, the KARE 11 reporter, who is on the book trail again as of today. His new book, Mastermind, a true story of obsession, survival, and justice. It's a whopper, is what it is now out, and we talked a lot about the book. It is a stunning story that is more than an attempted murder, right? It is the backstory involving the victim and involving what she had to endure from the individual responsible for planning the crime, if not actually shooting her, is in of itself exasperating. The number of times she was put in a position of on the defensive as if she was doing something to her own son, and nothing could have been further from the truth. The number of public officials in positions of authority who tended to believe those accusations when none of them were panned out, none of them were proven in a court of law, is almost like a separate story above and beyond the cold calculation of the crime and the backstory of the individual, as I said, responsible for it. So that's out. You can get it Amazon pretty much everywhere. Highly recommend you listen to that. We basically went 3:30 to about 4:15. We did cover a couple of other things about some of his videos that he's brought out, his own issues about X right now. A lot of good stuff from Lou Nanne. Louie with great stuff at 5:30. We had a news on the march today. We had a top 5 at 5. And we talked about the changing and swirling quarterback wins in the wake of the news that one of our alleged options, Geno Smith, is now off the table, having been not waiting for free agency. The Jets have traded for him from the Vegas Raiders. Some have snarkily and cynically said this is simply a device by which the Jets will guarantee the worst record and a chance to get, is it Arch Manning?
Arch Manning, yeah. I have seen that.
That's one of the theories that have been advanced. But he's off our table. So is it Kyler Murray or bust? Might we actually entertain whatever the 49ers are asking for Mac Jones? Is Cousins still in the mix? And is our guy A-Rod somehow lurking in the wake of the news?
Lurking.
That he hasn't told the Pittsburgh Steelers yet what his plan might be. So, I mean...
I thought he was supposed to do that by today or tomorrow.
He was. Now, maybe, again, tomorrow's Wednesday. So we'll see. If maybe a lot of things are going to break tomorrow. But some dominoes have started to fall that have limited us a little bit if indeed Geno Smith was considered kind of our backup plan. And we do not want to be caught that musical chairs game where when the music stops, we got no chair to sit on because that's what Daniel Jones represented a year ago. And we haven't, you could say, completely recovered ever since then. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Kessler is on the list. Tonight, it's Fan on Demand, and then it is indeed the Wild back home hosting the Utah Mammoth.
And then Wolves-Lakers after that. I didn't put that on the screen, but it's on there.
That is, and if there's any overlap, just check out the Timberwolves channel as well. The first of a series of 10 games in which the Wolves are playing some teams with some outstanding records. So a good opportunity to go to work and maybe even cement that number 3 position in the playoffs. Then you avoid Okie City until to the conference finals.
Yeah. Oh, you know who's 6 right now?
Who?
Denver.
Ooh. Denver's up and down, though. And Denver isn't guarding, is what the word is. So we'll see. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.